it's Lindsay from My Crafty Plans. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. Today I am going to be doing my May goals, breaking down my annual goals, my quarterly goals for the month ahead, which is May. I'm really excited to dive in. No reflections video this month, no reflections. I will generally talk about how my April went, which, spoiler alert, like amazing, amazing, so awesome. Might have to give myself my first ever 10, but I'm just gonna do that on this video's voiceover while we get this sort of top part of the goals spread set up. And I'm just gonna dive in and keep going because that's where I'm at with things right now. I will need to pull out my Q2 goals here, which I have in that folder. I set my Q2 goals along with April's breakdown as well in my last goal setting video. So now we're gonna take these same Q2 goals, work on these, keep going, carry over a couple things from April, and just dive into May. So let's go ahead and jump in. While I'm putting down the washi and decorations at the top for May, I'll just catch you up with how my April went and some just highlights and wins, etc. Basically, the month went really well. We were on vacation for a full week in April. We were gone for spring break. We had the best, most relaxing, wonderful family vacation. Like, I think it was my favorite vacation that I've ever been on with the kids. So that's amazing. And I feel like it was really just so wonderful. And yeah, it just really put like a very happy note on the whole month, which I felt like went really well. Even beyond that, I got to work on the Erin Cauldron launch, which I had so much fun doing. And I'm really enjoying some of those new EC products. I finished and filed my taxes, which is not fun, but definitely glad to have it done, and felt like a really big accomplishment when I finished it. And I did a really great job with workout classes too, and worked off a pretty significant chunk of my ClassPass credits overage. And I actually think in May, which I'm going to put on my goals, I will be able to finish working off that whole overage, and then I'll be like back to the regular set of credits. So that also feels really good. And just generally, I'm just feeling really, really happy, really upbeat, and like really enjoying this weather, and just like feels like my goals are going really well. I feel like I am very connected to them, that I'm still really actively working on them. I've spoken a lot about how like I'm not journaling. I'm not really doing a lot of reflections right now beyond what I'm doing kind of in these videos and just speaking. I just haven't really felt like journaling a lot. But I've decided to just kind of let that go for right now because, like I said, I still feel very connected to my word of the year. I still feel very connected to my goals, and I feel like I'm making really good progress. So I'm not going to just like force myself to journal and reflect when I don't feel like I want to sit down with that. And I've been doing a lot of crafting, a lot of writing, a lot of creative things, art projects, painting, drawing, things with the kids, and just having really fun with that kind of instead of journaling. And I'm just going to keep going with that because that's where my energy is at right now, and that feels really good. So I'm just going to kind of enjoy it. And that's basically how things went. Like I said, I think I might, have to give myself a 10 in terms of how things went in April. It was just a really great month, and our vacation was just so fun, and it was really, really honestly relaxing with me. And I've got 3 small kids, like 3 elementary age kids. It's hard to travel, and we had such a nice trip, and now I'm so excited to travel more with them after that. So yeah, I'm just feeling really good. Now diving into my goals for May, and here I am working off of my quarterly goals, breaking that down. I haven't really been looking at my annual goals except for when I set my quarterly goals. I get to pick a focus for the next 3 months and then kind of work through that. This has been really working well for me, and I think it makes sense because I feel like my life looks pretty different seasonally, which, that being said, we're very much going into this transitional period here that is the end of the school year, getting the kids ready, and then starting camp. This is a whole process because there's just like so much to get done at the end of the school year. I also volunteer with the school, with the PTO, so there's a lot to be done for that. And then also like the process of prepping the kids for camp, mostly my oldest who does go to overnight camp. That's a whole process. Like, it's a lot of packing, it's a lot of supply gathering, a lot of everything, a lot of hyping the kids up so that they're going to have the most fun summer. And then also just getting ready for beach season as well, because we do kind of travel to the beach back and forth a lot in the summer. So that's kind of my focus right now. We're in like a little bit of that awkward window where I'm like still trying to finish off the school year and get ready for summer. I did dive right in into the fun and recreation category though, because Mother's Day is actually on my mind, which we're hosting this year. Not my favorite thing to do for Mother's Day, but it's just what works out best. And I am in such a state of mind where I want to host and like have people in our backyard right now, and our lovely, lovely backyard, and do the grilling. And we had so much fun with the last party we hosted. So I was happy to do it this year, and it'll be really fun. And that way we can have everyone from both sides of the family, and we don't have to like make any hard choices about that. So just have everyone come here and we're going to have some fun. That being said, I do need to plan that because it's actually turning into like quite a large party. So we're going to have to figure out food and people who have volunteered to help bring things and all of that kind of stuff. So just kind of planning mode for that. And then I also put in just like the regular scheduled fun, taking things outside, making things look a little really cute this month. I actually love how my whole set of goals turned out. And then I moved on to another category, but then realized that I forgot something on this, and we've actually got a vacation coming up at the end of August that I need to work on and do some planning for. Then swinging back to the family and relationships category where I was before, again, the first thing on my mind is camp prep. And I actually had just placed like an order for some really cute shirts and stuff for my daughter, like themed stuff to her camp that was making it like super front and center on my mind. So I put that in. There's still more shopping that needs to be done, gathering the supply list. This is also involved like stamping my kids' names in all of their clothes, and that has to be done for kind of all 3 kids. So lots of prep that goes on to get everybody ready for that. And then also there's just some lingering things with the forms and the paperwork, both for camp and for school, mostly around like the medical forms, making sure I bring that to the doctors when they have their well checks and things like that. Other than that, I wrote to have a fun and productive end of the school year, work on our after school routine, continue to work on our after school routine. And then at the bottom, I just kind of like listed some words. I said attitude, routines, screen time, fun. I just trying to have like good family fun, some screen free outside time, really focusing on positive reinforcement and just the kids' attitudes, my attitude, all of the things. So just kind of been working on that, and we'll continue to. This is a category where I feel like we've made some real improvements. But it feels like a family effort, have made some real improvements for the since the beginning of the year. And also just like the biggest thing for that was been like, this was something, we had a kid who was really struggling, and we've been able to get outside help, like from her pediatrician, from a therapist, and also just from the school, and things are just going a lot better. And I just really like, sometimes you can fix things and sometimes you need help, and it is okay to ask for help when you need it, and it feels amazing when you receive that help and like it's actually helpful. I think the mom guilt can be just so crazy awful, and just really like, I just have to keep telling myself like, I am not a bad parent because I need help. And I really do just want to say that in case anybody out there watching needs to hear it. For the work and learning category, I just wrote to keep working on that like non-deadline project that I've been working on. It honestly keeps getting pushed because obviously that's what happens when something doesn't have a deadline. I've got some other small projects too, but nothing major coming up this month. And I just mostly wanted to use the time I have like kind of wisely and basically stay productive. But I feel like I've been doing a pretty excellent job with this year. I kind of never know when a big project's gonna come up. I mean, that's not necessarily true. I do know like some pre-planned bigger things that are going to be happening like later in the summer and in the fall. But for right now, like, you could get a big consulting engagement at any point. But until then, just continuing to use that time kind of wisely, keeping busy, still working on things, but not making myself like super busy unnecessarily, and enjoying the slower periods of work so that I have the energy to work on the busier periods when they do come up. In addition to checking in with my quarterly goals to make these goals, I also did keep flipping back to my April setup a lot because I didn't do like a full formal deep dive into my April goals and like really go through them, each one, to see which one I accomplished and how I was feeling about it. I was just like kind of checking in with them as I was going to see if anything needed to be carried forward or if there's anything I wanted to kind of adjust from April. Then in finance and spiritual and personal growth, I didn't actually really have anything that I super wanted to put on my goals. So for financial, just my regular monthly checks, there's nothing else going on with that. Just the same thing I do, the same kind of end of month, beginning of month process that I do every month. So So maintenance goal there. And then for spiritual and personal growth, I just wrote follow the energy. I'm not going to try journaling unless I feel like it. I'm just going to keep going with how I've been going. I feel like things are going super well right now. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Follow the energy, or I actually wrote follow your energy, is just like my major mantra right now. Then in the health and wellness category, I put a goal around workout classes. I just wrote workout classes big, and then I kind of added some sort of subcategories. Want to do 1 to 2 classes per week. That's been going really well. Finish working off that surplus credit, which I should actually have no problem doing. That's like my class pass extra credits. I should be back to 0 with those by the end of the month. And then also I just hit yesterday, which was May 1st, as of I'm recording this voiceover. I hit 25 rides at SoulCycle. So that was a goal of mine. I wasn't actually sure. I knew I was close, but I wasn't exactly sure when it was happening, but it ended up happening on May 1st, which was fun. And yay, that feels really awesome. One of my favorite things about SoulCycle is like, it's so small stakes, but the way that they celebrate your milestone rides is always super, super fun and motivating. I do really like that, like celebrate your wins, even the small ones. And if you don't know what SoulCycle is, it's like a chain of spinning classes, which I super love because it's like that great group exercise feel. It's really, really good cardio. And then also it's pretty low impact on your feet. And I've had a lot of problems with bursitis and stress fractures in my feet. So I like cannot run. I walk a good amount, but this feels like really like good cardio that does not hurt my body. Then in the physical environment category, which I think this is going to be kind of like my focus area for the month. Want to work on that home hub. I did do some work on it last month, not as much as I was hoping to, but that vacation was just, it felt longer than I was kind of anticipating at the beginning of the month. I still did make some progress. I also really feel like our kitchen could use a deep clean. And this one's kind of a May into June, but working with the kids on cleaning out their rooms and kind of like reorganizing them, especially for my oldest before she starts overnight camp, like really want her to do like a deep dive in her room, sorting, throwing things away. But for all of them, I think it's a good time to go through the toys and all of that. That'll probably be like starting at the end of this month and into the beginning of June. Then our new artwork for our living room is actually being framed now, and I can't wait to see this. If you don't know, we bought some custom paintings. We commissioned them from our living room from Tori, who is part of the planner community and is just an incredible artist. And I cannot wait to see the paintings and to get them. So finish styling the living rooms around those paintings, do the last of like the picture frames, the cushions, all of that stuff once we have them. And then also kind of working on our outdoor space as well. And really, actually, hopefully really, really soon, buying those new outdoor cushions for our outside furniture and just kind of cleaning up the space a little bit. A lot of that is going to happen in the next week or so because we are going to be having a party outside. We have just a really wonderful backyard. It's like 100% why we bought the house that we did. It was the major selling feature for this house. So just kind of making that space great so that we can continue enjoying it. Then in the personal category, where again, I didn't really feel like listing a ton. I basically have like 2 buckets of things that involve lots of little different things. One of which is going super, super well, and that's to use my planners and tools to stay organized and on top of admin and scheduling. You may notice that my planner lineup looks a bit different than it did at the beginning of the year, and that I've really only been using the goal setting pages in this planner. Right now, that's just what's working for me. And also for right now, I've really been enjoying the Laurel Denise portrait planner as kind of like my main functional planner. Notion, obviously still, Notion and Google Calendar really being used the most out of anything of all of my digital and physical planning tools. At this point, I also really do want to try the new Erin Condren dashboard layout, which I'll be trying in July for sure. I think that layout looks so fun and so functional, but I also am really enjoying the portrait planner. So if that doesn't work out, I will be just sticking with the portrait planner. So torn between those 2 things right now. But in the meantime, until my July planner starts, I'm going to just enjoy the portrait planner. And then the other piece is just on being realistic with my content planning and making sure I'm maintaining that editing routine. This one I do feel like is going better than it was. Still room for improvement, but I feel like I am posting a lot more regularly. Long form YouTube videos continue to be kind of like the hardest thing, just the editing work involved, but I am putting out reels and TikToks and stuff stuff more regularly and also just super having fun with it again and not doing something every day. That way I don't just like totally burn out or start to let it take up too much of my time. Just kind of have fun with it. So that was it for my monthly goals. I do also set weekly actions. It's actually kind of like a little bit awkward. So at the beginning of the week, I knew I was going to be working on my May goals. So I decided to just like not set weekly actions. And I figured I was going to work on my May goals on Tuesday. That ended up getting pushed to Wednesday. So I didn't really set weekly actions for the week until Wednesday. And then I wasn't going to do the, the week behind. So I just did it for in the week set May 5th to May 11th, but I actually just made it for basically from when I was writing it, which was on Wednesday, through the 11th. So kind of like a week and a half of actions, if you will. One of the great things about living in the MakseLife system and having it be such like a big part of your life is that I feel like I can go with a couple of days of a stopgap. I still know what I'm working on. I'm still working towards all of my goals and doing things. And actually the reason that I got delayed with setting my monthly goals is because I was working on something for work that came up kind of urgently. So I was really just kind of focused on that. All of my regular routines and habits still carrying forward. That's done. Now I can move on to what's coming next. And so I set some weekly actions, just highlighting things that are coming up. Mother's Day party, really big on my mind. Obviously, I'm not going to read all of them to you. This whole thing of doing my weekly actions honestly takes me less than 5 minutes at this point. It is a really seamless, easy process. Even when I'm using the stencil and stuff, it's still really quick. I also don't write down like every habit and every routine that I use and that I'm working on that are part of my goals. I just kind of write down what I want to focus on, things that are new, things that are a focus area, things that are coming up, and just leave it at that. I'm still doing all of those habits. I did put bedtime in here, but like I didn't put my skincare routine on here. I'm still doing that every day, or my dental routine, morning routine, all like that. It just kind of depends on the individual habit. So I am still doing more things than this, but these are the things that I'm focused on for the next week and a half. All right, that is everything for my goals. So I did set my weekly actions, or that is what I'm working with from now / actually from a few days ago through the end of next week. And then here are my May monthly goals all set up. I really love how this looks this month. I think it's super, super cute. I hope you enjoyed setting goals with me. Let me know something you're working on in May and down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and you can also check me out on TikTok and Instagram at MyCraftyPlans for even more planner fun. I will talk to you soon. Bye.